Ready to go?
Okay, we'll bring the Poughkeepsie Joint Water Board February 2nd meeting to order. The first point of business is public participation. Would anybody like to participate?
Thank you. Okay, so there were some minor changes. I talked to Dottie, she already made changes early in the year. To get by you that it's 2026 now instead of 2025. So the agenda, the meeting minutes were going to be changed. And the other question though that I had was, I haven't heard anything recently about the 2024 audit. So since anybody say what the status of the audit is. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Next order of business, approval of the January 5th meeting. That's 2026 as well. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Pass 5-0. Plan status report, Donnie.
All right. So, overall, January was normal. We operated no major issues. The overall net production, we averaged about 11.73 million gallons per day. The total production amount of 363.56 million gallons. And it's actually about a 4.7% decrease from January 2025, which I thought was interesting. Hopefully some of that is contributing to those city detections that part of the summer. We are, as usual, below for our community and the effluent. This ice and snow has been a little bit of a challenge in a different way than summer salt and calves. But during the snowstorm, we did have very dedicated staff that was here. We had operators stay over to make sure that they had relief for the next day, and the maintenance crews as well that stayed to make sure we were able to clear the facility out in case anything happens. Weather can be troublesome. We are seeing, because of these cold temperatures, some ice occurring in spots that we normally don't see. So we have to be careful and monitor our circulators out in the front building here. And we did have an issue with a pipe freezing over the old building. So we have to evaluate the heat over there. So that building seems to be super hot in the summer and super cold in the winter. We are having an issue still with the electricity coming from Central Hudson and having the low voltages come through. The ozone building particularly is very sensitive to those changes in fluctuation. Right now, we are scheduled tentatively sometime in February to retap our transformers in hopes that that will help readjust it a little bit. But because of these faults that are occurring, it is having an issue. We do have issues with our UPSs, and the batteries are also draining, so they can't seem to get it to reset. So we might have to evaluate a new UPS. So that will be coming. But other than that, it's been a really solid month.
Operating budget status.
Okay, so we are just at the beginning of the year. So not much has made its way into the budget. We did receive, so overall everything is good. My one concern right now is our gas line for Central Hudson. So we have most of our power is electricity, but we do have natural gas for some of our heat and specific heats in the pipe galley for our dehumidifier. But the meter was broken, I think, for a few years. They recently replaced it. So our budget for that line was not very high, and we've already received an invoice for part of December into January that was $11,000, and the line only has about 15 budgeted for it. So I'm gonna look into it a little bit more, see if there's anything else out there that could be causing such a high bill, but we went from getting nothing to a new change of meter, and now we're seeing huge numbers.
That one of those situations where they were estimating for all those years and all of a sudden they put a meter in and it catches up to you.
It could very well be. I have to do some more investigation with it, but that is just something that could be a concern.
Did you get an updated invoice or anything by any chance? Cause I know I got one just for like my house where they sent a bill and they were using some wrong calculations. So they actually sent new invoices. I think it came through Friday. That it was a lower number because they were looking at like cold weather and they had some algorithm or calculation that was wrong. So it's not gonna be all of it, but it might be. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree, Dave.
Yeah, they just with the calculation, I guess they were like off by a decimal or something.
Number, right?
Yeah, depending on how big the bill is.
I definitely need to do some more investigation. In August is when that meter replacement occurred and we started to get some low numbers. And I was like, all right, well, it's not that big of a deal. But now all of a sudden this month we had a huge amount of usage. So I'm not sure. So I have to just more digging, just putting a warning out there that that we may have to reevaluate the budget on that. But overall, starting off, okay. And as far as the 2025 operating budget, it's a little hard to tell because we were, I don't think I sent this out to you, so I do have copies here. But overall, when you look at the combined percentage of the entire budget, we were at 87% of the budget, but I know some of those lines have to do with the city's payments and the town payments, so I'm not sure if that's truly accurate. So those have not been addressed yet. So it looks like we did make it barely. Some of our main lines where we're taking our supplies, we're at like 98%, 96% of the budget spends. But yeah, I can just, yeah.
Okay. Old business, board reorganization.
I'm not sure. I put it on there because I didn't know we gave a 30-day extension the last time for our chairman and different positions. So I don't know what the status is. It's not how we do additional 30 days.
Right, I guess so, but so the mayor has spoken from the council member from the city of Poughkeepsie. He will be joining us. I was hoping the motion maybe will come this evening, but it's not, but it's really be there. At one point, I guess we can take those notes and exactly.
So everybody good with keeping it as it is? Want to have a motion for an additional 30-day extension?
Yeah, motion for 30-day extension.
Anybody in favor? Aye. Opposed? 5-0. Engineering update.
So Erin is at a conference today and wasn't able to join us. Ultimately, there isn't anything super major going on. We do have the RFP for the comprehensive facility plan out there. We would like to give a couple of week extension to that. So the engineers, one of the engineers specifically asked that. And based on the amount of stuff that's in there.
So they want an extension on the response.
On the response, yeah. So just by Erin thought like maybe a 2 to 3 week response would be
But we
okay.
have it now.
It's soon, like middle of February.
Okay, well, it wasn't very long.
No, it wasn't very long, so it probably should have had a longer time to begin with. And I did put some questions out to the town.
Yeah, I got.
Yeah, so you don't have to have that work done just right away, we just need to know if we can do it. So they were looking for some information. Usage within the distribution system.
A lot of people interested.
I know of 3 engineer firms that have reached out to change from anything. So
Do we need to take a vote on extending that, or did Aaron just?
I don't know what the city said that it was acceptable date, the like March, I think it was like March 2nd, so
Let's give them as much time as they need.
What are we gonna extend it to?
I think it's like the beginning of March. I don't know exactly.
And since the city administers that RFP, then it's good.
Yeah, so I checked with Karen and
Okay.
Karen was okay with extending it to the date that.
All right, perfect.
So yeah, so that's that. And
Which will be after our next meeting, right?
I believe it's
Yeah,
after the
okay,
next
fine,
meeting.
okay.
And then the, I guess we're still at status quo with the filter and drain for the funding information from the state. So,
AMA working group update?
I believe we are tentatively scheduling a, I guess a little presentation, maybe potentially in the March meeting. So Dylan, I guess it depends on how far you get into our review and if we're able to meet as a group to go over it. So, I'd like to give you the heads up that that March meeting might include a presentation. And if it's not March, then
I think we'll definitely be in line for that. I have just the last section to go through, which is a meaty one, but Brian, Bill, and Jim did a really good job. So I've been kind of just cleaning up, checking legal citations, regulations, ensuring everything's proper. So I don't have too much. Probably the hardest part of it is going to be just reorganizing and doing the numbering. So I'm gonna have my paralegal work on that. So we'll keep costs down, and she's honestly better organizing. So so we'll get it in order, and it'll make everything a little more succinct. So that should probably take a couple of weeks. So I think we'll be in line for March to give the presentation, and then start the review process from there.
Will the people who were working on that, the IMA working group, will they be attending the presentation in case we have
I
questions?
think that's the expectation.
I think that's-
of that.
Okay.
Everybody will be.
Will we have that beforehand, or are we gonna get that the day of the presentation? Like, are we gonna review it first and then they're gonna come in, we'll have questions, or we're gonna hear it first and then come back with our questions the next meeting?
I would probably prefer if we can get it to you before. Certainly, it would be a better use of everyone's time.
Yeah.
Because if you show up and you're seeing it first,
You're not really reading it, getting a chance to really.
Right. At that point, we might as well just kick it out to April. Right.
Well, that gives you 3 weeks then, right?
Yeah, so I mean, what I need to do, I should be done tomorrow, just as far as that review, and then I'll talk to Vicky and just tell her to put it on the top of the pile and try to get it done by next week if possible.
Very good. New business? Just the world's quickest
Yeah.
joint water board?
I got one thing. Did we ever go any farther or go any deeper in that, doing that, the coating in the solids tank? Or the.
We haven't done anything with that at this time. We would like to get it funded this year. It would be a capital budget expense. So that would probably happen at some point.
So get price on the last couple over the course of the year, so
Yeah, well,
budget times.
Yeah, so I mean, they kind of gave us a quote already and it was much lower than the original thing that Joe had, and so, Aaron, the vision, they have a. I want to say it was like only $100,000, so like it was.
The grand mark stuck in my head.
Yeah, I feel like it was 100,000, where the other one was a little bit more than that, so, it would have to be a couple of expense.
Get that money part in budget time. Got plenty of time to put that in the mix for next year. I didn't want to forget about it. That was a couple months ago, and then we got off on
Yeah,
the other study going on, and just, it's so fun, important project in the background too, so.
yeah. So the coating of the tank will definitely extend the life a bit, so that we can figure out where the replacement could fall in the grand scheme of
Fines.
everything, yeah.
I guess for a new old business, I have the 14 boxes. So I don't. No, well, that's the piece I was gonna. Do you want me just to start like bringing a handful at a time when I come to the meetings, or?
That's fine, or we can send somebody, you're in Poughkeepsie, right?
Yeah,
So
right down the road.
We can send somebody to. Oh, that's.
All right, yeah, I can shoot you an email. We can figure it out because I can probably fit like 7 to 8 in my car.
And I think the issue there was we never had a full board to actually take the vote again, right? Because
Oh, yeah.
formerly city appointee on the board, didn't attend the last several meetings.
And then we had an AI, so that right, therefore it wasn't right.
It's not unanimous.
Correct.
I have to go back out of order, I guess, and do all of this. So our council member, Toner, joined us. He's gonna be the mayor's appointee. I'm not sure of the process, so much we would officially vote him on the board, or the mayor's already appointed him. So Daniel, you could sit at the table or stay there and do this is a kind of thanks, so. Is that end? Shall we go around and give introductions?
Yes.
We'll start with the best.
I'm Dottie DeNobly, I'm the water plant administrator.
Barbara Laird, Board 2, Poughkeepsie.
Poughkeepsie Water Superintendent.
Chris Chad, Commissioner of Public Works for the city of Poughkeepsie.
Let's see, Councilmember.
Dylan Harris, Whitman Osterman and Hannah, attorney for.
Daniel Tona, I am the council member for the city of Poughkeepsie Ward 8, southeast corner.
Welcome.
Welcome aboard.
Absolutely. Well,
Would it be worth having some discussion now that we have the full board present about what the leadership would look like moving forward for us to at least consider these things over the next month and make people and argue solution.
There's 3 positions, according to the bylaws, which we need to go over some point in
Yes,
time with the
yeah.
full board. But the positions are where did it go? Chairperson, vice chairperson, and secretary. They're selected annually by majority vote,
So. Sorry.
and was Rebecca the vice chair?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Chair is Chris, Rebecca was the vice. I think there's tradition has stated that it's alternated back and forth. Right.
The chair goes from the city to the town.
And the chair and the vice chair can't be of the same.
Uh-huh.
Right now. Yeah, or that's the sheets. Do that. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll act right.
So think about it and. Yeah, usually just flip flops, right, between the town and the city.
I think there was Rebecca questioned if it had to flip flop or if it just had to be that one was from one entity and the other is from the other. And I think that is something that everyone.
the flip flop is tradition, the one and the other is in the bylaws.
Exactly.
Right.
So.
I don't know, I'm sticking with the tradition, so.
But since there's, yeah,
Good job.
so last year there was 2 from the town, 1 from the city, so this year there's gonna be, right, cause the vice chair was Rebecca, secretary is Tommy. So now this time there should be 2 from the city, 1 from the town. In those 3 positions.
As long as the chair and the vice chair,
Oh.
so the
Okay,
chair will be the town, the vice chair will be Poughkeepsie, and then whoever, it's the city, then whoever
okay,
wants to be the secretary.
so we're not gonna vote on it today,
Vote next time, like after the appointment's official,
okay.
so that we have the full board.
I just had one quick question, and it kind of goes along with Doreen's question of the audit. She was asking about the status of the 2024 audit. Since 2024, the town has had to create a separate fund for the joint water plan. And I would think that whenever you send something to us, could you also email Minal Patel? It's MPATEL.
I have it.
Oh, you have it. So that then, if I forget to bring her the things, she has an electric copy of it. Because she kind of needs to know what's happening with the budget, because she can't do anything about it, but she has to reconcile and put it into her
Well, there's
fund.
bigger expenses for planning, town's got it.
Yeah.
There, she needs to know that, so she can stay.
And we should be able, now that we have capital funds like going, we never had a capital fund in the town forever. So now that we have a capital fund, that should play into it too, like we have to remember to include the joint water board in major purchases, bonds and stuff. That's all. I don't know about the audit.
And I have a question about we need to replace the tank or, a couple $1 million, something like that. Like, if we are going after, a grant that, the board has to work on it, or like, the city and town takes responsibility.
Board engineer.
Okay. And, did we look into further health, grants?
Is that drinking water grants?
Yep, we're normally our engineers here. She's up on all the grants and everything we apply for, and then we have a process now going on. So we have a couple different projects right now that are all processed right now.
And for the, comprehensive,
Facility plan.
yes, so do we have a budget for that?
So there was a estimated budget that we were going for like $500,000 over time
It's
study.
estimated.
Right, and it's estimated because I'm not quite sure what it would be.
So right now.
Budget for the study, not for the,
Not for the
not for the
work,
work.
yeah, just.
Well, right now, basically, we got this out and everyone's gonna come back with their, no, that's sorry. That's out to bid right now, basically, so then they're all gonna come back. Who would be the best to do that job? So I'm sure, depending on, since of the scope, I don't know if you've seen the scope of what it is. It's a very drawn out scope with a lot of information to it. So it's be very curious to see what the actual amount comes in as to what it actually is gonna be compared to what it's proposed to possibly be. So there's a lot of things that were added to it as it went on. Big problem based on the treatment as.
The problem with the studies, how it gets bid is, it's the hourly rate, and then we'll put estimated hours to it. So everybody will estimate different hours, so the actual cost is rarely what the number is, because the estimated hours are just that estimated. So it's hard to evaluate, everybody's rate's pretty much the same, the hourly rate's pretty much the same. It's just about how much time they spend on it, so just be aware when we do the professional bid, service contracts. Might say $100, but it costs us $200 in the long run, or $50 in the long run, if it's underestimated, which rarely happens, but it's, so the bottom line isn't the bottom line usually.
Now, this is gonna go through the same process as it went through when we had that other study with Park with Judas, where we had the city's schedule in terms of rating.
Yeah.
The engineers and stuff like that.
Yeah, so from my understanding, Erin is coming up with a score for it, so that we'll be able to use that score sheet to review the information that they provide us. And we'll be evaluating what their ideas are and how they'll approach some of these situations and what comparable things that we've done in the past.
In a couple of years ago, the infrastructure bill passed. This year ago, in that, do we have any support from that or?
Infrastructure bill, I'm not quite sure what that bill entailed, but right now we don't have anything that's applied to that.
I have a question for you. So, sorry, I'm new, so.
I'm here for.
So I understand, I'm not asking to raise the water bill or anything. So for example, we, as the public works, we have to, serve as the cost, right? Like whatever the cost, that's what we can, if we try to make a profit, people can sue you, if you increase the water price, per unit. So, but when we set the price, it's, do we have a kind of like a rainy day budget to be for maintenance and all? It's part of, can we do it?
It's all incorporated in like a lot of our contracts or Dutchess County Water, wastewater, stuff like that. They go on a CPI index yearly. And in those, there's transmission fees and all that stuff that are all, that go to city, go to the town, through that. The residential stuff, the town deals with. Well, water rates go up and down, that's on the town, just like it's on the city.
Right, so it's two different
systems.
Right, so you're saving your money, we're saving our
And
money.
the town buys your water from the plant. At the end of the year, whatever it costs to produce the water, the town and the city both purchase it. So that's what this place operates on.
And you're saying there's separate contracts for the third party, and those third party agreements are a bit different.
Right, they pay like a wholesale rate versus a consumer rate.
There is no actual like slush fund here in the water plant or at this time. Our budget is funded by our actual needs, what we estimate to be the year before, and then it's funded, percentages that it's a weird percentage. So that's what the city pay versus. I think one of the things you might hear in the upcoming IMA is possibly an idea of creating something like that. That's kind of rainy day fund for the water plant, because we do have some very large, things that come up that they can't quite wait for capital funds in that sense, but we need some emergency funds. It's bigger than a $75,000 contingency. So
I want to brace is pretty good.
It needs to be fixed like yesterday.
Yeah.
so
Only I had stitch and time, save time.
There's a lot of slush outside, but no slush fund.
But that's something legal, right? So to say, this is just a question, so we have. Even though the price set by the town or city, but I'm just looking for the legal, for example, on our public works model, I can't make profit out of water selling, increasing the water price level, because this is, as a town, I can't make money out of. But I could add the rainy day funding, the funds, so we eventually, not right now, but eventually.
You already do have something like that. You have a water fund, you have a sewer fund in town. That where your excess money goes to, and then that is used for projects that go on, the distribution distribution system here, stuff like that. That gives you the ability to do stuff. So you do have that.
That's kind of like the difference between like the usage fee versus being a district. Like they go into different pots as far as how it can be used in the budget.
Okay.
But we typically, at this board aren't really dealing with that. That's going to be up to town.
Okay.
Anything else now? We have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
I'm going to stop the recording.